I'm Hailey Trealout, and today we're spending 5 minutes with Brad Saunders, Project Director for the Lancaster Restoration. So Brad, before we get into the topic with the project, can you give a little bit of background with the Lancaster?
Background-wise, donated to Windsor. The aircraft didn't see any wartime, didn't drop any bombs. It flew for the Royal Canadian Air Force for a number of years. They retired it in '62, and it was donated to the city of Windsor at that point to be a memorial.
Roughly how much work has to be done with it?
We're talking a complete restoration. The years on the pedestal at Jackson Park, and most people remember it sitting on the pedestal at Jackson Park for years. The weather and other things took its toll on the machine. Even the fact of the pedestal going up through the middle, things were modified on the aircraft that basically have to be repaired. Also the fact that it never saw wartime, so they took the guns out of it and the turrets and stuff like that to do photographic survey. We want to keep it, make it back to period looking, so we're looking for turrets and things that you just can't knit, you have to find them.
So where exactly do you find these pieces?
Oh, geez. There's a number of organizations throughout Canada. As you know, there's one flying in Hamilton. They're a wealth of information because they've gone through this process already and they're flying the machine. Out west, there's a number of museums with the Lancasters we can pick, and you'd be really surprised in how many parts and pieces are sitting in barns where the people they just have it and don't know what they have, and you have to search. And I mean, I just bought a part the other day on eBay, so you never know.
So roughly how long do you think it'll take to get the whole project together?
My idea right now, I have to go in steps, okay? It's like eating an elephant. You got to eat it a bite at a time. It's huge, right? So my big thing right now is I wanted to get it inside the hangar and try to get it to a museum quality look. Money providing, of course, and talent allowable, and just try to get it looking good at this point. I'm trying to give myself a 5-year increments on that. So in 5 years, I'd like to see it in the hangar with the wings on, looking good, looking reasonable, so people can come and look at it and pay it some homage that it's due, right? As far as it'll be continuing 20, 30 years. We'll always be working on that. Always, always, always. As you saw when you were there, it's just a huge endeavor. So
there's some shots that we have of the Lancaster. Do you think you could put into perspective how long the wingspan is and how big exactly this plane is?
100-foot wingspan. Okay, and put that in perspective, up until a couple of years ago, there wasn't a hangar at Windsor Airport that could house it. There's a big new hangar there, the MRO, that does maintenance on airliners. That's the only hangar that I can get that inside with the wings on. So that gives you a little bit of perspective. 100 feet wide is pretty large. It's a big bird. People don't realize how big they are. So when I bring it into our hangar, I have to bring it in with the wings off and then put the wings on in the hangar. That gives you some perspective.
So will we ever see this big bird fly?
Such a question. People talk about it all the time. I mean, everybody's heart's into it. This is usually my response. If somebody passed away tomorrow and left us $8 to $10 million, okay, which would probably be what it would cost to get it flying shape, we couldn't afford to fly it. Okay, the one that flies in Hamilton, 60 man-hours of maintenance for every hour that it flies, not including fuel and all the other stuff that goes with it. And then the insurance is phenomenal, outrageous. So really, you know, is it worth getting it into that shape to fly? My idea, the aircraft is a memorial, okay? It is near dear to my heart because I am a vet myself. So I think of all the people that gave their lives. A lot of Windsorites gave their lives in that aircraft, young guys. They were 19, 20 years old going into battle, okay, with maybe 100 hours flying time under their belt. So my idea is I want it looking reasonably good, museum quality, so some of these older gentlemen who did fly it, okay, and we're talking 70 years ago, can actually come and see before they're all gone. I'm running out of time, okay, so that's why I want this thing inside the hangar looking good. That's going to be my main focus at this point. Flying at this point is not an option, you know, for us.
Well, thank you. I'm Hailey Trealout, and we've just spent 5 minutes with Brad Saunders, Project Director for the Lancaster Restoration.